welcome to the I Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and it is super that you are here. We are here together for the I Ching weekly forecast for the week commencing the 17th of November 2025. How did your week go last week? We had Hexagram 20, contemplation, the bigger picture, the tower, getting perspective. We were challenged to not just see things through the crack in the door, but realize the picture is far bigger. Learning how to deal with, should I advance? Should I retreat? Should I look at my life? Should I look at what happened to work out what to do, whether to move forward or to pull back? Lots for us to contemplate. And that beautiful, gentle energy helping us to shepherd things and move things forward, a grain of sand at a time, gently and nurturing and persevering through this gentle energy to get where we needed to go. And I challenge you to at least once in the week say, what's the bigger picture? Okay, so did you meet your brief? Did you get your 10 virtual points? I said that sentence so many times last week, I've lost count of my points, because it really was a sentence that really helped me. That and the crack in the door, those two things really helped me in not just being attentive to my own thought process and where I needed to see things differently, but also to help people around me in my workplace, with friends, with family. I could throw the sentence, are you seeing this through a crack in the door? Are you seeing the whole picture? And it was really powerful to help other people with the I Ching in the week. So if anything came up for you that was interesting working with the I Ching, please do share a comment. This week, the week of the 17th of November, what is the I Ching asking us to pay attention to? Well, this energy of this softened energy, the tower, the gentle, the sand, female energy comes to a stop because we have Hexagram 52, keeping still, the ultimate of pausing and reflecting. Okay, so this hexagram is a doubling of mountain. So we had a doubling of wind last week, okay? And in our monthly, we have the doubling of thunder. So it's quite interesting when you start to see these patterns of like the intensification of the energy. We have a doubling of mountain. A mountain symbolizes coming to a rest. You know, it's energy as it sinks and rests. Okay, it brings a stoppage, a stillness, a rest in the journey. And this hexagram comes to bring us an awareness of understanding when it's time to stop or keep still, and when it's time to advance. Okay, the wisdom of when it's advance time, when it's show time, and when it's still time. And this hexagram brings us the awareness that this week, something about our week, our flow, is requiring us to keep still, to be calm, to be in our center. This is the meditation hexagram, to meditate, to be just mindful, and to not pursue, okay, the agenda or chase the thing or advance if it's not the right time, but just to stop. Now, I often have this experience of dreaming about the hexagrams in a story format prior to the weekly coming up or the monthly. So interesting. And last night I had this dream that I was part of a support team of a big rally competition, like car rallies, mud, okay, and very intense, very competitive. Each team is trying to maximize their time and make the shortest time to come in through the finish line for the day. And all these teams were coming in through the days, racing through the mud, high intensity. And the organizers of the race said, we have now put in place a mandatory rest day, because there was something about this day's racing that was very intense, very hardcore. Everyone had to concentrate. It was really tough. And they've put in place, as they write, a mandatory rest day for everyone. So stop. Okay. When I woke up this morning, I was thinking, wow, this is the energy of Hexagram 52. It's like I've seen a little movie explaining this idea of this hexagram, that when you've been going at it, sometimes the most important thing is a mandatory rest stop. Okay. So it might be for us this week that we are choosing to come to a standstill. Okay. This is not standstill as in standstill, right? We were forced to be stuck. This is about being calm and stable, and choosing to be calm and stable and coming to a rest and being in a meditative mindful space. Okay. Something is needing a calm, stabilized approach. Not rushing and racing and wild decisions and rally driving. Mandatory rest day. Okay. So we might lean in and make a choice of saying, you know what, I'm going to take that rest day. And the rest day might not be an actual rest day. It might be, we're just going to pause on making a decision on this thing. We're just going to let it sit for a while. There's no need to race off and make a decision. We can just sit with this for a bit. So it might be a choice. You can make a strategic choice to sit with it for a bit. Or you might find that the world brings you a stop, a mandatory rest day, because the rally has been intense and we need to have that day of just coming back to ourselves, finding a way of resting and stilling the mind, the heart, and the action, and finding a way of regrouping and being in our center. Okay, so you might be forced into it if you are not doing this voluntarily, or you might find that this is the right thing. In the week, you think, mandatory rest day. I need to just let this sit. So wherever you are feeling forced into making decisions, really challenge yourself to think about, is this really necessary to decide now? Or can I just sit with this just for a week? Let me just sit and contemplate and work with this. And it's so interesting that this hexagram comes following last week's hexagram 20, contemplation. They're very similar ideas. One is getting perspective and seeing the bigger picture. And this one is coming to a stop. A mental stop, an emotional stop, a physical stop. One or all three. Okay, so we have two changing lines this week in the 3rd and the 6th position. With this hexagram, the changing lines explain where in the body, from the toes right up to the top of the head, the stilling is taking place, right, where the calmness is showing itself. In changing line 3, okay, we talk about the sacrum, the lower back. And what this line says is that we have to watch out for forcing the stillness upon ourselves. In other words, I must just sit with this. I must just sit with this. I must sit in this chair and I cannot move until I've worked it out. Okay. And what you can see in this little story, this line, is this forced stilling, right? Creates a disconnect. It creates a cutoff of energy between the lower back and the heart, this very important area. It creates this cutoff. And so this energy and the emotions start building up. So you can try and smother your fire, right? If there's a fire within you on a particular issue, you can try and smother it, but that just makes acrid smoke. That's how the changing line is described. The toxicity of the smoke building up, and it creates a disconnect with the heart, and it just breaks the flow, the internal flow. So if you're feeling this like I'm forcing and imposing a stillness upon either myself or a situation, an unnatural stoppage, an unnatural moment of trying to calm and still and not move, watch out for how that builds energy when there's really a fire that's burning that needs some support, that's needing to be addressed. So what do we do with that line? We look for areas where the stilling or the calmness or the forced meditation and concentration is unnatural. It's out of kilter with what the situation needs. And what it does is, instead of calming, which is what you're trying to do, it just fans these acrid flames, these acrid smoke that's building up tension. So for yourself, pay attention to where you feel you should do something, i.e. you should not do anything, or you should be still, or you should be calm. I will be calm, I will be calm, I will be calm. And all it does is suppresses the thing that is building and building. So you've got to watch out for that, the heart and the lower back, right? This kind of energy that you've got to watch out that you aren't suppressing something and thinking, I must be calm, I must enforce stability and stillness here, but actually the situation is somewhat different. It's unnatural to do it. We need to find other ways of releasing the energy and moving the energy. So instead of being still, maybe I need to walk. Okay, so that's the idea of shifting how we are dealing with this emotional situation that's sitting there that needs release, how we're working with it, and how we are enforcing and using our will to try and suppress what is going on and what is sitting within us. Okay, It will come out whether you like it or not. We're going to get through that line. We are, because we have line 6, which is a lovely line. The stilling has reached its fullness. In other words, it's reached the top of the head. We have demonstrated, and we can demonstrate this idea of being calm and still and generous and open and present. It's like a kingly line, right? So the stillness and the calm has reached the top of the head. We've reached a place of like just being clear and calm and stable and generous and giving and supporting the people around us, like bringing everyone into this calmness, right? The radiation of the stillness, meditative space. Okay, we can radiate that out and bring everyone in within its orbit, a really wonderful energy where we have reached a place of just finding the peace, finding the calm, and the place of balance. We bring people into that, we share it with others, and we create this space in the week of calmness and focus. Okay, wonderful line for us to work with. And after this acrid smoke build up and trying to find a way of dealing with the frustration and the energy and how we work with it, a wonderful culmination is through changing line 6. That gives us a second hexagram, and because it's 3 and 6 that are changing, right? They are the same position, 3 and 6, and we have a doubling in hexagram 52. That means we have a doubled hexagram in the outcome hexagram. We have hexagram 2, the receptive. So we're going into the mother creative earth. This energy is the beautiful holding energy of earth that takes all the seeds planted into it and holds it and supports it, nourishes the growth. It does not initiate new things. It supports those new things by bringing life to them. Nutrients, water, nitrogen, okay, whatever those things are needed, the seeds are planted, we are supporting. This is a week where we are in a responsive mode. You know, it's so interesting how much female energy we've had over the last few weeks. And considering our monthly is that hectic 51, shock shake, okay, which is like total masculine yang energy. Really interesting these last 2 weeks. Okay, we're in this receptive holding energy. Maybe we're counterbalancing that energy or moving towards the second part of the month as we work with the return energy from the monthly. So the hexagram 2, receptive. We are receptive, and in our female energy, in yin, we are holding the space. We are giving everything that it needs. We are nurturing. We are just creating the space for the seeds that are planted to grow. That's all we need to do this week. We need to look after the operational environment. Okay, we are needing to not rethink strategy or come up with a whole lot of new things. We are operationally excellent. Okay, if we're talking in a business context, that's how we're holding the space. In our personal lives, we are providing the nutrients and support. We are not running the agenda. We are just happy to support what is needed, bring what is needed, grow things around us, get our hands in the garden, into that rich, dark soil, right? It's that kind of grounded, focused energy. Both of these hexagrams are grounded, focused energy. So an opportunity this week to get back into your meditative practice, and perhaps it's not forcing you to sit still when you've got like a sewing machine leg and you want to keep going. Maybe you need to actually just do walking meditations this week as opposed to forcing yourself to be absolutely still or completely emptying your mind out, which is very, very difficult to do. Maybe some mindfulness meditation this week would be a much better approach. So calm and stable, meditative, in our center, quiet, receptive, a lovely holding energy this week where we can just hold the space and not react, just be present and grow, because we're able to bring what our flow is needing this week as opposed to forcing our agenda or doing what we think we should do rather than what we should be doing. Thank you so much for being here with me. As always, if you liked this episode, it added value to your life, a thumbs up, a like would be really great. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell and the follow button on the podcast. And I look forward to seeing you soon for our next weekly I Ching forecast as we continue our adventure in November. Until then, take care.